very special guest speaker today, Sam Beller, who graduated from Brooklyn College sometime, I guess, somewhere before 1980. I'm not exactly sure when that is, a few years before me. Sits on the board of trustees of Brooklyn College. He's a professional insurance executive who's going to tell you how he got started in business and what he did at Brooklyn College and after he left Brooklyn College. So let's hear it for Sam Beller.
Thank you very much. You know, I wish that when I were a student here, there was a class like this with an instructor like Ted. I probably would have saved an awful lot of time and compressed a lot of mistakes that I made in my business and in my growth as an entrepreneur. I always loved to sell. When I was 15 years old, I bought my first lot. I spent $20 that I had made running errands, and I bought tie clips from a store that was going out of business. I found out very quickly why they were going out of business. My $20 went because the tie clips just weren't the ones that could sell. I think I made back $6. My uncle and my mother and father bought one apiece, so I made $6 back. But I love the entrepreneurial idea. When I was in high school, I worked my way through high school, as many of you did. Anybody here go to Stuyvesant High School? No, okay. I went to Stuyvesant High School on 15th Street. Very old building. At that time, it was all boys, and it was a very rough school to stay in once you got in. And I worked for a company called the Ribbon Bow Tie Company. My friend Wally Siegler's father owned it, and I was a delivery boy. I went in one day, I said, Mr. Siegler, can I take some of these bow ties to school? Because a lot of the kids wear ties and wear bow ties, and maybe I can sell them. These bow ties sold on the market for about $5 a piece in the stores. Mr. Siegler went ahead and said, okay, tell you what I'll do. I'll sell them to you for 50 cents a piece. Take as many as you want, and whatever you sell, you'll give me 50 cents a piece. I took about 3 or 4 dozen bow ties, put them in boxes, and went to school and started selling them to the kids for $1 a piece. So it was very easy. They would give me $1, I'd give them a bow tie, and there I was selling bow ties, and I was making about $15, $20 a week. You got to remember, this was in 1952, when the minimum wage was 75 cents. So making $20 a week, I was making a lot of money. All of a sudden, I'm in a class, and a monitor comes in and says, Sam, Mr. Lapellis would like to see you. Now you have to understand, Moses Lapellis was the scourge of any student in that school. If you were called down to his office, it was, when are you leaving Stuyvesant to go someplace else? I was absolutely petrified. I walked down the 3 floors, walked into his office, and he looked at me from behind his big desk, and he says, Mr. Beller, I understand that you're selling bow ties on school property. I mean, you talk about scared. I'm just figuring how I'm going to tell my mother and father that I am out of Stuyvesant. I'm gone as my senior year. I said, yes. He says, I want to see them. I made it up those 4 flights of stairs in about 3 seconds. came downstairs, brought the things to him, he opened them up, looked at them and said, I'll take one of these and one of these and one of these. He bought 10 bow ties from me. It was like an unbelievable thing to me that here the toughest guy in the school was buying my bow ties. I then created a Stuyvesant High School senior bow tie that the GO store bought from me, and then they couldn't sell them, so I had to sell them all for them to all the seniors. It was a wonderful experience. I got into Brooklyn College. I started here in 1952. The school was fantastic at that time, as it is today. And I was very lucky, but at that time, the cost to go to school was $11 a year. It's a little bit more now. But just as you probably, most of you can't afford the $5,400 that it cost, I couldn't afford the $11. I was working at various locations, and I figured I had to sell something. So I would go ahead and I'd bring ties. I would buy ties for 50 cents a piece on Allen Street on consignment, bring them into school and sell them to my friends and to everybody, all the boys and the women, the sorority girls at the time and the houseplant girls, at $1 a piece for their boyfriends to give gifts, and these ties that were selling again for about $5. I didn't know any better. I got thrown out of the cafeteria 6 or 7 times and things like that. And I also sold, someone mentioned here, costume jewelry. I was able to get the costume jewelry downtown on the Lower East Side. And this is a little thing we used to do. There was a little tag on there. I got the costume jewelry for about $1. I sold it for like $3 or $4. But there was a tag on there that said $49.95. And you know, when you buy a box of costume jewelry, there's a little cardboard thing that you take that lifts up. Well, I would tell the guys that I sold it to, take the $49.95, put it underneath, and put it back. When the young lady that you give this to takes off the necklace and earrings and whatever, she will lift it up. She'll take a look, it says in there $49.95. You didn't know it was in there, and you come back to me as a very happy man on Monday morning. And that's what happened. Anyway,
it was $11 to go to school, but $49.
Anyway, I then was graduating Brooklyn College. I had the following. I had a wife that was pregnant. I had no job. I didn't know what I was going to do, and somebody sent me a card that said, fill out this card, and we will give you a little leather wallet and some information on insurance. I was not exactly interested in insurance because I didn't have any money to buy any if I wanted it. I was working at the JCH, and I came home in Bensonhurst, and I came home, and my mother said, my wife said, excuse me, my wife said, some little fat guy just came to the door, said, and he gave me this wallet. I don't know what it's all about, but he asked that he'll call you. I got a phone call, and I told the fellow on the other end of the phone I wasn't really interested in insurance, but I was graduating college and looking for a job. And he said, I was just made a supervisor for the Guardian Life Insurance Company. He said, can I come over and talk to you? I said, fine. I was living on Nostrand Avenue in Brooklyn. We came over, and I said, this sounds very good. He said, come in and take the aptitude test. Well, I came in and took the aptitude test. And you have to remember something. I was getting $137.10 a month from the GI Bill. They offered me $100 a week, and all I had to do was sell insurance. I thought this was the greatest thing in the world. I had never seen $100 a week. Now, again, put it back into perspective. When your grandparents were my age, and probably many of them are, and I started in the insurance business, I knew nothing. All of my friends were college students. They weren't in the market for insurance. And most of the people that you will deal with in your entrepreneurial life will be within 5 years your age group. 5 years younger, 5 years older. That is where you're going to be living most of your life. Well, I came out of college, I was in my early 20s, and the problem was I really didn't have anybody to sell insurance to. So I went around sending out direct mail, try to get people to talk to. I used to take around with me to learn what I called bathroom reading, these little flyers that told me things about insurance. And the one thing I will tell you, if you ever want to be an entrepreneur, learn your craft. Understand what you're doing. In business, it's a relationship. I don't care whether you're selling shirts, whether you're selling jewelry, whether you're selling paddles, no matter what you're doing. If you build strong relationships, they will be with you. I am now in a position where many of my clients are retiring and retired. And I feel that I have the obligation that they help me get to where I am. And that I now have the obligation to make sure that the promises I made to them 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago come through today. And that's what happens. So I want you to make sure that same thing, the integrity, honesty, and the reliability, and building those relationships. You know, it's a very interesting kind of thing. When you're in business, if you're a failure, nobody cares about you. The more successful you are, the more people try to knock you down. I go on the theory that you build yourself up on people's shoulders, you do not build yourself up on people's bones. And there have been several cases, one of which happened to me about 6 or 7 years ago. I made a proposal to a client, and someone else was proposing a similar program. And the client told me who the other people were, and I said, you know, whether you go with them or go with me, they're a terrific group. They really know their business, and you would be well served with them as you would with me. Well, about 3 weeks later, I got a phone call, Sam, we've chosen your product, and I came in and did the program for the company. 6 months later or so, I'm sitting having lunch with the president, and I said to the president, you know, I don't understand. These other guys, they're bigger than I am. They have all resources and everything, and they're an excellent group. Why did you choose me? And he said, very simply, when I asked you about them, all you did was praise them and say they were very good. You said, they're good, you're better, They're bigger, you're more incisive. You can deal with us because it's you that we're dealing with, and you're small enough to be concerned for us. When they came in and I told them who their competition was, they spent 25 minutes telling me how terrible your company was, how terrible you were, how you weren't very good, and whatever. He said, I'm not interested in that. So I tell you this, you build yourself up on people's shoulders, not on their bones. They're good, I'm better. When you do that, you will find that it will take you a little bit longer to get there. But when you're there on very solid footing. And when you make mistakes, and trust me, you will make mistakes. And I can't tell you, I make more mistakes in a day than most people make in a month. I make more mistakes in a week than most people make in a year. I make more mistakes in a month than most people make in a lifetime. The only people that don't make mistakes are people that don't do anything. It is better to do something and make a mistake than not to do it at all.
Exactly. Which is a good segue, because we are
I'm sorry,
almost
just
out
have
of
the
time.
last thing
Go
I
ahead.
haven't
Sure.
finished. All right. I live my life very simply, right? Very simple. It's if you give more than you get, you will always get more than you can possibly give. I found that out. I found that out here at Brooklyn College. As Ted said, I am on the board of directors of Brooklyn College Foundation. I'm chairman of the Planned Giving Committee. We give out about 1,000 scholarships a year. And I find the greatest pleasure that I get is helping Brooklyn College students. And I will tell you that it pays me more than anything else could, except for my grandchildren, in my life. And I thank you very much.
Anybody have some questions for Sam? Go ahead.
Sam, I got a question. When you were starting out, how did you get over the fact that you were dealing with people who were older than you, that you were younger than them, and like, how did you get them to trust you initially?
Very good question. My initial thing was, yes, I am young, I am learning my craft, let's learn it together. I need your help, you need my help. I don't have 5,000 clients, I have you. So I can spend more time helping you than someone else can. They're good, I'm learning, and we're going to learn together. And I have people behind me that would help me. I need your help to help me help you. I mean, essentially, that's it. Remember, don't be afraid that you don't know. The worst thing you can do is fake it. Someone asks you a question, you don't know the answer. That's a terrific question.
When you find out, man.
I will get back to you with the answer, and get back to them. People, you know, they say, oh, gee, I fooled him. No. You learn, they learn, and the relationship comes together.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Sam, for coming.